It was at Shea Stadium, so it wasn't good. Which, that game sucked, by the way. I was supposed to see Tom Glavine pitch.
Tom getting.
And then he got scratched right before the game. I was so mad. Because I'm pretty sure that was his last season.
So, Kendall, I remember this specifically because this is like when we first became friends. Tom Glavine.
How old was when you guys became friends?
It was like sophomore year of high school.
How old are you now?
I'm 4.
Oh, pretty smart.
So, Tom Glavine pitched his final game. Like, it was when the Mets were going through like that big stretch where they needed to win and make the playoffs. He was facing the Marlins. How many runs did he give up that day? Like 11, right?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, he did not pitch well. The whole year he was pretty bad.
It was at the end. It was sad.
He had a good few years for the Mets.
Yeah.
Hey, we're live on Facebook.
That's right.
Check us out.
But obviously he was a
Tune in.
better Brave.
Kyle, share the video.
Yeah, just did with my telekinesis powers.
You know what's weird? I'm pretty sure one of those Tom Glavine jerseys from, I don't know what the situation was, is in like the Hall of Fame. And just weird because it's like, it shouldn't be with the Mets. I can't remember what it is exactly, but.
Well, I told Kendall the other day, Matt Harvey jersey's on sale down at Marshall's. $18.
I like that, by the way. Caption.
All right.
Go get yourself a Harvey jersey.
Yeah,
Ready?
first of all, I think Matt Harvey could still be good, but we'll talk about that later.
All right.
Kyle, I think you're the only guy alive that thinks that.
I think Matt Harvey could be a Hall of Famer.
Matt Harvey just needs to get into the right situation.
I think he would be much better if he changed his last name to Hardy, but I think he'd hit people with leg drops
And get a brother Jeff.
and bang up.
Get a brother, Jim. Does anyone want to be my brother?
Anyone.
I do. What's your name? Steve? Nah.
You're out. Change it to Jeff.
I will accept Jeff. I will also accept Spike.
Or Lita.
No, he's got a bang leader, so he can't
No,
leave
he's
him.
not banging. Matt's banging.
Yeah, we're talking about Matt.
Talking about Matt.
I'm an idiot.
You're also 4.
I'm 4.
So what do we got with this here, Paul?
What does it look like?
Well, I mean, what do you want to do?
Take a guess. I think I know. And I'm full.
Kendall, can we find a different one?
Yeah.
Like something with different rankings there, like different tiers.
What's bothering you about that? The tiers or like
The tiers.
not the Maverick logo being way cut off?
No. That's about it. Just pick which one did you pick before that? First
NBA
one?
point
No,
guards.
the one that was down.
Yeah, that's perfect right there. Boom.
Okay.
Yeah. Excellent. All right. So this is for NBA free agency. We're going to do a tier ranking of it while we discuss it.
Sorry.
I sent out a text. Those of you who chose not to do homework, shots. Mock.
I did some.
You did none.
I read some articles.
if it would please the court, I also have a NBA free agent tracker.
Nope, can't use it.
Okay.
So we'll start off with. How do you want to do this? You want to start off with the team there? Or do you want
You
to
can
go in
use it
alphabetical order?
if we get stuck.
Okay. Well, this just has all the names alphabetically. So that's all. That's all
Yeah,
it
that's.
is.
I'd rather have it go by team, but it's okay.
Wait, what did you say it has?
So it's like CBS or something. It has every player like who's a free agent
no, we're not
alphabetically.
doing that. All right, so we'll start off. You want to just go in alphabetical order of the teams?
Yeah, we'll do that.
Or whatever. Atlanta Hawks. So give Kendall some time to find them. The third one in.
Uh-huh.
So Souls, what do you think about Hawks free agency?
They did a lot of their damage to the draft. They didn't do anything in free agency. They got younger, which they need to do. They added shooter Cam Reddish and another defensive shooter in DeAndre Hunter during the draft. They lost Dwayne Dedman. So they needed to pick up a big man, but I don't know if they did. But, they still got a young core between Trae Young, now Cam Reddish, DeAndre Hunter, John Collins.
They did make a free agency move, though.
Who did they pick up?
They didn't pick. Well, they didn't technically. So the free agency thing will also include trades. So they traded. They got Chandler Parsons.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that.
Yep.
That was basically a salary dump for the others for both sides.
They have Solomon Hill and Plumlee for Parsons.
Which could be a good trade if Parsons somehow gets back to his old form. Parsons to be a fucking baller. But I think Atlanta, has the potential to be an 8-7 seed. But I think they right now fall into the C category.
I mean, they didn't, like I said, they didn't do much. So that because of that nature, they didn't do anything dumb, so they can't be a D.
Pete?
But I also feel like they didn't need to do anything. in free agency. They didn't. They didn't. Right now, right now is not the time for them to go out and sign one of these superstars. Like I could see them like maybe going out and getting like they could have signed like a Robin Lopez. They could have signed maybe like a Danny Green. Them going out and signing like
they're gonna run small this year.
I'm saying though, but them going out and signing like Kawhi or
No,
something like that, like it would just be detrimental to the young core.
they could have gotten DeMarcus Cousins. I think that would have been a really good pickup for them.
Nah, I don't think so because it's a hothead that.
Well, it's a big man to play with the younger kids.
Yeah, but it's a big man that's all about me playing on a team where everyone's trying to be unselfish. So I think it would hinder them. If anything, JaVale McGee would have been the right center to go with, or Boban.
Anybody, but they don't have one. So I think John Collins is going to play the 5, and Hunter is going to play the 4.
I can get behind him being a C because they didn't really do much. So I mean,
I don't think they'll suck. I think they'll get better.
We're not talking about where they're going to finish.
No, I'm just saying.
No, but I don't want you to just say. I want you to just analyze.
Did Atlanta have a lot of money to spend, or not really?
Yeah, they have a lot of money.
Yeah.
It's just nobody wants to go there.
They're just not ready yet. They're not. Even if Kawhi went there, it wouldn't be enough to make them win the title. They would still have too much trouble just against the West. So all these big star free agents, they want to go somewhere where a difference can be made now.
So C?
I'm cool with C. All right. The Boston Celtics. They signed Kemba Walker to a 4-year max deal. They signed Enes Kanter. And they brought back Wanamaker and Thies. Which I think the Thies thing, very underrated.
Wanamaker get the fuck out.
Yeah, it's kind of whatever. But like, I think Wanamaker was more to have, but Thies was like an important off the bench guy for them. And with the loss of Horford, they're going to need as much help as they can in ability to score the ball from their big men, because you're getting rid of somebody that can drop 20 points any given moment in time, and a very good defensive player. So they're going to need to step things up in terms of offensive production from their big man. Because if there's any negative we learned from Kemba Walker and his time in Charlotte, it's that if Kemba always has to carry the load, he can become a little inconsistent. So if he has some people like he does with Smart and Brown and Tatum that could score the ball, maybe give him 15 points a night, then I think we can, we'll still see 45-point Kemba every once in a while, but we don't have to see that. I think it's best for him because he's still like a growing player. Because we're going to see we're either going to see superstar, like hands down best point guard in the league Kemba, or we're going to see step back Kemba, because now he's playing with a team that actually knows how to play basketball and has had a minor taste of success as a young core. So. But I mean, what do you think? What do you think so far? Like, what you like the Kemba signing? I
do like the Kemba signing. I think they got worse because of losing Al Horford and not really being able to sign they got Kanter, but they didn't sign before a little bit.
Yeah,
but
that's why the Feast signing was so important, because
I put him in the B category, not an A. I think they got a little worse, but I think in the beginning they'll be bad, and while they get to play together, they'll become an A. If that makes sense.
See, I understand what you're saying, but I think I'm more leaning towards A, only because not only, but it also was even better because they were losing Kyrie and Rozier. And so they went out and got, in my opinion, a point guard better than Kyrie. So, they upgraded their in my opinion, Kemba is like Rozier and Irving together. Like their talents combined is what Kemba is, in my opinion. Because Kyrie's a little too inconsistent, and Kyrie's he's not a team leader. He's a play with another superstar. But I can give you B. I can sleep with B.
I had the B range too. I think, like Paul just said, that Kemba's an upgrade, at least for that team, than Kyrie. I think he'll fit in better.
So I have a quick question.
And Kemba's a better shooter than Kyrie, which is what they need.
Do you guys feel that Marcus Smart has not panned out as anticipated, or is it just kind of been...
Marcus Smart is exactly what that team needs. He's been what that team needs.
He's not an offensive guy. He's a defensive guy.
Yeah, he is a...
He's considered a top 3 defender in the league.
At his best, he is when he's playing his best offensively, he is what you want from a 3-and-D kind of guy.
Mm-hmm.
When he's stroking it from behind the arc, he's absolutely insane. But besides his defensive capabilities, which I agree, I think he is a top 3 defender in the league. I think he's right up there with Butler and Kawhi. I think he's so good perimeter. But he also plays people bigger than him well in the post, and he's an in-your-head guy. without getting himself in trouble. DeMarcus Cousins, Draymond Green, these are guys that they get in your head, but they also get in their own head and everything blows up. And you can get in their head. You don't see people getting in Marcus Smart's head. You only see him getting in other people's heads. And it doesn't affect the Celtics. It only affects the other team. Marcus Smart has been exactly what that team needed. That's why it was such a priority for them to get him to a long-term deal.
And I still have Brad Stevens.
Right.
Yeah, the second best coach in basketball.
So what's that 5 going to look like now?
The starting 5?
Yes.
Kemba at the 1.
Smart at the 2.
Smart at the 2. Tatum at the 3.
Mock at the 4.
Hayward at the 3. Tatum at the 4. And
You could think of me Hayward or Tatum. Hayward or Brown at the 3.
Hayward starting.
And then
Hayward started. Hayward was getting back into Utah Jazz form by the end of last season. He wasn't as prevalent in the playoffs, but that team was a dumpster fire in the playoffs altogether. So it'll be Kemba, Smart, Hayward, Tatum, Cantor, or Thies, depending on what Cantor does in the offseason. Because because like Thies is a liability on defense but can score the ball, and Cantor's a liability on offense but he can defend. And I also think there's room for that too. I think that you could see Hayward and Smart switching. I think you could also see Smart being a bench guy, like a coming off the bench and defending the hot guy. Like, don't put him in. Let whoever is going to be hot start getting down. And I could see Hayward starting at the 2 and Brown starting at the 3, or Tatum at the 3 and Brown at the 4. There's interchangeable parts. I think this is a team that we could see maybe a dozen different starting lineups, barring injury. There's a lot of flexibility. There's a lot of multi-positional players. I can marry B. That's fine.
B.
All right. The Brooklyn Nets. So they managed to sign Kevin Durant, Kyrie Irving, and DeAndre Jordan. They also went out and hold on. My bad. They also went out and signed a defensive guy in Garrett Temple and Wilson Chandler.
Forgot about Wilson Chandler.
It's not a game changer, but they went out and added. The most impressive part about their free agency to me is that they went out and added pieces that can kind of lighten the load until KD comes. Wilson Chandler will help with scoring. Temple will help with defense. They still have Jarrett Allen. They still have Dinwiddie. They still have Dinwiddie, right? They still have they still have pretty much the entire core of that team that made the playoff push last year, with the exception of D'Angelo Russell.
No, we're gonna grade them off this year or just overall.
Well, you're grading free agency.
Free agency.
That's it. Free
So
agency.
the free agents they signed, or not draft trades they've made. Like trades that have been made since the draft. So that's why I wanted to talk about the Hawks, because they didn't sign anybody, but the Chandler Parsons thing at least should be discussed in their grade.
See, I wish it was like a A- B+, but I'm gonna give him an A.
Why did you give him a B+? Because
I think the DeAndre Jordan move wasn't necessary. I don't think it makes them better. I think it's just a kind of a waste of money. They still have Jared Allen, who's basically the same player but younger.
Well, I think that gives depth. I think we spoke in a little bit of depth last week. I think DeAndre Jordan has a lot left in the tank, and with presumably
he's a little
limited
older,
minutes.
but
Well, right.
Jared Allen can also play the 4.
He can't shoot.
He's improving he's been improving his mid-range game.
I just don't.
And with granted, it's not when they have a healthy squad moving forward, you're gonna have Kyrie and KD. And too, is even if you play smaller ball and you have KD at the 4, and you were to start like Dinwiddie and like somebody else, like I don't know who else, but even if you were to move him to the 4, it means you have Jared Allen or DeAndre Jordan coming off the bench. I don't think the DeAndre Jordan signing is necessarily it's necessarily like he has to start kind of thing. It might be a mentor thing for Jared Allen. Plus, you signed 2 big megastars that you want to keep happy. And you essentially signed DeAndre Jordan for free because they both took pay cuts to get DeAndre Jordan. They didn't take the Supermax deals that they could have gotten. They took pay cuts so that Jordan would come there. So they really didn't spend a lot of extra money to get Jordan.
No.
That's money that would have been spent on KD and Kyrie if they said, no, we're not bringing in DeAndre Jordan. Because they both basically said they were going there regardless, but they wanted Jordan to come with, so they were willing to take less for that to happen.
So for free agency sake, I'm going to give them an A. They got Kevin Durant.
And Kyrie. Which my thing with Kyrie is like Kyrie on that team, maybe not this year, but next year, we're going to see Cavs Kyrie again. Because Kyrie plays a lot better when he has stars on the team. When there's another star on the team, he plays better. Not necessarily because he's a ball distributor, but he steps his game up when there's somebody else. If Kyrie was on the team, or if Kyrie wasn't injured when that Celtics team went in with Jason Tatum playing hot into the Eastern Conference Finals, I think that Celtics team would have went to the finals. Because Kyrie would have played a lot better with that level of Jason Tatum. Jason Tatum didn't play up to expectations last year, and that's why I think the Celtics struggled, was because it was all on Kyrie, and Kyrie being the nature of the guy that he is, which is like the Steph Currys, which is like the Russell Westbrooks, he's a ball handler that creates his own space, his own shot, and his own way to the lane, and when that is your game, you over-dribble and you get yourself in trouble. Steph Curry does it all the time. The greatest point guard to ever play the game of basketball, but he gets himself in trouble and he over-dribbles himself into turnovers all the time. It happens. You can hear any credible NBA analysis guy talk about it. When Kyrie has that other star, he doesn't have to create his own shot because all he has to do is a little dribble move to make some sort of movement, and he's either going to create enough separation to get his shot up, or someone else is going to come over to help, and he's going to have somebody else to dish it to. Because you have to respect KD. It doesn't matter what Kyrie is doing. Whoever's on KD isn't leaving KD. So that means that maybe we leave DeAndre Jordan open. Maybe we leave Jared Allen or Dinwiddie. And those guys, then it's up to them to step up. But I think it's an A.
I say A as well.
This doesn't change anything, but the Hawks did sign Jabari Parker.
Did they?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's still a C move.
But it's still like it's a good piece, I think.
It's a good piece. It's a more of a team player than a selfish player, but
I like how Kyle prefaced that. No, this doesn't change anything.
Well, no, I forgot that I saw it this morning that
I
they
like
signed him. I just forgot about it till now.
But I think they're an A. All right. So the Charlotte Hornets.
D.
I can't
had-
name a move they made.
They signed Terry Rozier.
They had every opportunity to re-sign Kemba. They didn't want to give him the money.
I don't know. Is that true?
Yeah. All they had to do was offer him the max. Like their
I heard
max.
they did offer him the max.
They didn't. Michael Jordan was not going to give him the supermax.
Oh, the Supermax.
Well, that's how it
funny.
is.
I know.
But they had the opportunity to re-sign Kemba. They didn't. So they did a sign and trade and got Terry Rozier.
How long? I know we're going to get to it, but how long did Kawhi sign for?
Probably 4.
Was it 4? Oh, okay. I thought he was going to do a 1-year thing with the Clippers and then re-sign, because I remember reading somewhere if he re-signed for a year on a team, he'd be eligible for a Supermax
Well,
deal.
hoping he did 1 year so he can keep going from team to team that hasn't won a championship yet.
And then retire right before the Pels.
Yeah, just paving his way through.
But I think they're D. They didn't do anything.
Yeah.
They
signed Terry Rozier out of need.
They didn't shed any of their bad contracts. So the team's going to be worse.
If anything, they added a bad contract because aren't they giving him $58 million over 4 years for Rozier?
That's better than what they're paying Nicholas Batum.
I understand that, but you're giving realistically, you're giving an unproven starting point guard that kind of money. He filled in well for Kemba, but he was also playing the hype train of the Celtics, and he was riding a hot streak. I mean, doing that for 15, 16 games in the playoffs is a lot different than doing it for an 82-game season when you're the captain of the team.
The Hornets are going to suck.
They're going to suck forever. I give them D.
Mike?
Duh.
Say it, dude. Say dick.
just say it.
You coward. All right.
What do you got next, Riddler? Okay, so the Chicago Bulls, they inked up Luke Cornett, was a 7-foot center that has a 3-point shot.
Former Knick.
That's just the Bulls. Bulls we'll cover it when we get to the Knicks, don't worry. They also brought back RC, I don't know how to say it. RCD Akano.
Yeah, he's from Villanova, if anybody cares.
Yeah, I mean he was a spark off the bench for them last year in like a minute needing situation, And then for free agencies, they went out, they signed Thaddeus Young, and then they did a sign and trade, which is essentially a free agency move to get Satoransky from the Wizards, their new best friend, the new Knicks for the Bulls. So I'm on the fence with this one because I think the Cornet thing is very underrated because Felicio has not panned out to what we need him to be, and I think that it's just a matter of time before we deal Wendell Carter because there's just too much talk about it. Like usually, whenever you see someone's name getting floated around in trade possibilities long enough, especially a non-established player, they're going to be moved eventually. Whether it's to get moved up into a draft or something, or to acquire maybe like a Russell Westbrook or something like whatever. But so I think that's important to add shooting depth. The Bulls desperately need shooting. Even if it's an inconsistent 7-footer, somebody who has the ability to shoot the ball. Like I said, the Arcia Desiano, whatever the fuck you say it. He was just a good spark off the bench. He was a good minute eater when people were getting injured last year.
I can happen now.
Sure.
I'm full.
Satoransky is, I think, an amazing pickup for them. A very athletic, ability to drive down to the lane. Still inconsistent, but they're not really looking for a traditional starting point guard anymore. They went out and they drafted Kobe White, and they still have Chris Dunn. The Satoransky thing was really more of a like, hey, Chris Dunn, if you want to be the starting point guard on this team for 82 games, you need to stop being a fucking piece of shit and play better. And Satoransky gives them athleticism. They're a young team. They need to use their youth to their advantage like the Hawks do, and they need to run. They need to outrun these older teams. And that's where they're going to win games is because they're not going to be tired in the fourth quarter, and that's what they have to do. The Thaddeus Young thing is what holds me up. I think it's a great pickup in terms of what the Bulls is all about and what Boylan's all about and this team is. I just don't know where he's going to fit in. I don't know if he's – it almost seems like he's going to be going from starting 81 games for the Indiana Pacers to being an off-the-bench guy for the Bulls. Because the last thing they needed was a 4 or a 3. They needed 1, 2, and 5. And they went out and signed a 3-4. So I'm a little like – I'm just a little concerned about what it's going to do for the lineup. I'm just not sure how it's going to work chemistry-wise. But on the flip side, Thaddeus Young is a warrior. He plays through all his games. He doesn't ever come out for injuries. He's going to be a great mentor for all these young guys, especially with the injury bug that seemed to have been biting the youth in Chicago recently with Levine, Dunn, Markkanen, Wendell Carter, Valentine. All of them just been injured left and right. So I would say B. I'd give him a B. I don't think definitely not an A, but I don't think it was bad enough to be a C. They didn't make any moves that were just like, why the fuck did they do that? They made moves to help improve the team. They just didn't improve. They improved them from an 11th, 12th seed to like could maybe fight for the 8th seed throughout most of the season and fall short. So they improved their team, just not drastically.
Right, and then much like the Hawks, they didn't get worse. They
Right.
They made the moves, and I think the Bulls have proved that they're a team not afraid to make changes. If they don't like something, or they want to do something different, they're just going to do it. And it's as of late, it's kind of worked out. I think it's kind of a refreshing thought process. So
You're welcome, Mark.
I give him a B. No sexy pick, but no bad pickups.
Right.
No bad contracts.
Right.
B.
Prove it.
No big sexy picks, but good pickups.
All right.
These are
So this next one, I think we just have to do it and see, just because the Cleveland Cavaliers, they literally just didn't do anything. I don't think they didn't trade for anybody. I don't think they signed anybody.
I might have made it like a minor trade, but nothing important.
I don't think they did anything this offseason outside of the draft. I'm talking about the day after the draft to now.
I know.
From the day after the draft to now, I don't think they've done anything. So by that nature, I feel like you can't give them a D just because they didn't like. They're just a young team in the middle of a rebuild, and they're not really sure what direction they're going with this rebuild yet. So because of that, why do something stupid like go pick up a bad contract or bring in a 32-year-old vet or bring in an unproven guy? Like, see what they're still seeing what they got. They're still building on their direction. I feel like you have to give them a C.
Kevin Love will be traded eventually this year.
Right. I agree with that. All right, the Detroit Pistons. So
I loved what they did. Not enough to be an A. I'm thinking about it. I'm going to give them a B. I love the Derrick Rose signing. They needed a point guard. Reggie Jackson's a 6-man. He's proven in OKC. He's a better guy off the bench. They lost to Smith. Who the fuck cares?
I care.
And they signed Markieff Morris, who's a good 3 or 4. You know, he's not great in any aspect, but he could shoot. He can rebound.
He'll be a real spark off the bench behind Griffin and Drummond.
And it's better than what they had last year.
They also added Tim Frazier.
Did they?
Mm-hmm.
It's Todd Frazier.
They signed him
Gotcha,
they signed him to a veteran minimum contract, so it's like 1.6 mil. He played with the Bucks and the Pels last season, and I mean he only averaged like 6 points, 3 rebounds, and like 5 assists, but that's good off the bench stuff. And Reggie Jackson I think Reggie Jackson can do more lethal stuff as a scorer than he can as a court general. So if you get into a situation where you need to have something like that, you can bring Frazier in to run the point for 3 minutes and throw Reggie down to the 2 and make him the scoring option and have Frazier be the court general.
I think putting Reggie Jackson back in the bench is going to help the Pistons because he's now able to just run the offense, do what he needs to do. Doesn't have to run through anybody. He can just do his own thing. And now I think that makes the Pistons better on the offensive side because now they have Derrick Rose, who knows how to play through players. You know, he can give the rock to Blake Griffin and Andre
He's
Drummond.
still one of the best in the game at creating separation going into the lane. He's not finishing with these flashy tomahawk dunks over 7-footers like he did when he was a Bull, and that's all because of the knee injuries. But his time in New York and his time in Minnesota, he was cutting through people to get to the rim and doing the acrobatic finishes that only Derrick Rose knows how to do. I don't care what anybody says. I think Derrick Rose is still the best finisher at the rim.
And with more playing time, I think that will him, and it'll make the Pistons a lot better.
And it's just a giant setup for the Pistons to get Chris Dunn or Derrick Rose.
That ain't going to happen.
Chris Dunn and 3 first-round picks for Derrick Rose.
We'll talk about it.
What do you mean we'll talk about it? What does that mean? We'll talk about it.
I'm not the Pistons. They'll talk about it, not me.
You said we. So what are you giving him?
I give him a B. Very close to an A.
You can never just give him something. You can just be like, give him a B++.
I give him a B.
He's got a real 89.98 score going
You're
on
talking
there.
like a 4-year-old.
Exactly, because I'm full.
All right. So here's one that I'm not really sure how I feel about.
Can I move up the Pistons, please?
We doing them in B?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm in.
What you and Mock say don't really matter because I haven't really talked much.
Well,
When we get to the Pistons and the Rockets, you guys or the Pacers and the Rockets, you guys will have your time to shine.
Pelicans.
Whatever. They're all
I was gonna say I don't know who's gonna shine with the Pacers.
me and Souls right now. So I'm really on the fence about this team. You and I are gonna have to debate this one out because I feel like we're gonna have 2 very different things to talk about. So the Pacers added Brogdon on a sign and trade deal. They inked ex-Hornets guard Jeremy Lamb. They also
Quick interruption. Vlad Guerrero Jr. just broke the home run record.
How many?
29 in a single round. Broke Josh Hamilton's record.
That's a guy that was probably on cocaine during that.
It's fucked up.
I feel bad for
True though.
I feel bad for Kyle
Why?
because he fucked up. Because Kyle meant to type, "Who do you guys pick for the home run derby? I have Vlad," and then never sent the "I have Vlad" part. Because that was his pick since, like, I can attest to it. Kyle picked Vlad 3 weeks ago when we were doing, like, or not 3 weeks ago, but when they were released, Kyle was like, "That's my pick."
I had to go with fucking Carlos Santana.
I figured, as soon as I saw he was in it, I figured he was going to win it. So yeah, the Pacers.
Oh shit! I lost my thing that I had going on.
God, what do you got about the Pacers?
Well, they did a sign and trade with the Bucks and got Malcolm Brogdon. I think on a relatively good contract. He's a fantastic shooter and a very good defensive player. And he's an upgrade from Darren Collinson. Unfortunately, Darren Collinson had to retire this year. So if he stayed put, one of them would have played the bench. Either way, it would have been great for them.
Right.
I think it adds more to the offense for Victor Oladipo. He doesn't have to do a whole lot. And with Brogdon and Oladipo out on the perimeter, it makes them 10 times better defensively. Better than what they already were. I know that in the Pacers also signed Jeremy Lamb, who I think is a good player off the bench for them. He's not a starter, but he can shoot the ball.
So
Shoot the ball.
they also re-signed Sumner to a 3-year deal, which he played 23 games last year. He didn't do much, and then they added T.J. McConnell.
Son of a bitch. They have 3 TJs on, and they traded for TJ Warren.
So the T.J. McConnell thing is great because that gives them a lot of him and Lamb. Well, Lamb will probably start. Probably.
TJ Warren will start at the 3. And will come off the bench.
So they have some bench depth, but none of it matters. It depends on what happens with Oladipo. It depends what form he comes back to. And that's why I'm really on the fence about this because it's like they made good moves, but all these moves aren't going to mean anything if Oladipo doesn't come back to form.
I think it makes them better. I think it's enough to beat the Celtics last year.
Yeah, but that's dumb.
Nah.
Yeah, it is.
I don't understand what you mean by that.
The 2019-2020 Pacers team will be better than the 2018-2019 Celtics team were.
But the Celtics improved.
No, what I'm saying
he's saying that this new Pacers team would have beaten last year's Celtics team in the playoffs. The Pacers lost to the Celtics in the playoffs. So if that Pacers team looked like this new Pacers team, they would have beaten them. But it's not the same thing. Yeah,
I think they added more scoring and more defense. I think it makes them a 3 seed in the East. I think they upgraded a lot.
You think they're a 3 seed?
Yeah. Especially because a lot of teams got worse.
I mean, only one team up that high got worse.
2.
Who's the other one?
I think the Bucks got worse, and I think the Raptors got worse.
Well, the Raptors definitely got worse. But the Celtics didn't get worse. I don't think the Celtics got worse.
I didn't say Celtics.
No, I know, but the Celtics, I think, are still better than the Pacers. The Sixers are better than the Pacers. I think the Bucks are still better than the Pacers.
I don't know. I think the Pacers right now are a better team than the Bucks.
So what do you want to give them, an A?
I want to give them an A.
All right, give them an A.
We'll see what they say.
Give them an A.
Well, you didn't finish you'd started then.
If Oladipo doesn't come back to form, they're not a 3 seed.
I think they still are.
No, they're not.
I think Miles Turner gets better with them. I think Sabonis is a better player with them.
If Oladipo goes down, who's picking up the slack on the scoring?
Both Brogdon and Warren, who've both proven they can score in this league.
But they're going to pick up all of Oladipo's slack?
The guys that picked it up last year was Collinson.
They picked it up on a cupcake schedule, and then when the schedule got rough, they started losing games and dropping in the seedings, and then they lost, and that's why they lost to the Celtics.
But they upgraded the point guard, and they upgraded the small forward.
All right, we'll give them an A.
I never liked Oladipo, but my opinion doesn't matter. I just don't like him. I don't think he's a good ball player.
You're an idiot.
Kyle just right. You're an idiot.
He might not be, though. We don't know. He was good in his first year with Indiana.
It was his first 2 years. He was playing outstanding until he got hurt.
But injuries change players.
He was good with the Magic, and the
other thing too is all these signings to me kind of be like maybe we're building a team without Oladipo.
So you're thinking that you think the injury is worse than,
So
or that the team is preparing for the injury to be.
I don't think
worse.
Oladipo is the type of player that's going to come back and immediately start playing the way he was playing last year.
He's not coming back until December.
Right, but I'm saying, I don't think we're going to see if he comes back December next. I don't think he's coming back and playing immediately in the first 5 games the way he was playing last season.
What
I don't see Oladipo getting back to form until
he had some type of leg injury. I couldn't tell you what the name of it. It's a weird name.
I know it wasn't was it like the patellar tendon or something like that? I know it was something with his knee or something, wasn't it?
Yeah, but it wasn't like MCL.
No, I know. Well, it was like the old Teddy Bridgewater kneecap thing.
Right.
Oh, man. Speaking of him,
floating knee.
He had Teddy Bruschi had a stroke.
Yeah, his second, yeah. That
Feel bad yet?
couple weeks ago. Oh, my God.
It's your fault.
Yes, it's my fault. Well, my apologies.
He knows how much you love him.
What else you got to do is sip of silence?
He didn't die, Kyle.
Jared Lorenzen did.
He did. Hefty lefty. That was sad.
I'll do a sip of silence of that, and I was a fan.
Hefty lefty.
All right, well, I don't like Oladipo, but it doesn't matter. We'll give him an A.
He has nothing to do with this.
He ruptured his quad tendon.
Oh.
I think I'm probably like this big when he fucking did it.
Tell you what, that's gotta suck. That's gotta really hurt.
All right. The Miami Heat. So the Miami Heat dumped Whiteside's contract to the Blazers, and in return from that, in that like kind of like big trade type of deal, was that part of the trade?
Yeah,
Or was
part of
that,
the.
that was that okay?
Yeah.
So
Well, it wasn't like a part of it, but it basically was. You know what I'm saying? Like they did it
yeah,
part of it.
it was
because like it
part of
was like
I
it was
understand
for
what
the
you're saying,
reason.
but it was just funny.
It's hard for me to explain.
I'm not laughing at you.
I know. I'm gonna grab me another beer.
so
I mind greatly.
they dumped. It was part of it.
Was it?
It was part of it. So they dumped Hassan Whiteside's contract and an aging center that isn't going to fit in with this kind of youth movement they're going to start rolling with. And in the deal, they got Jimmy Butler out of it, and they got Myers Leonard out of it. Myers Leonard, right? So, unfortunately, their grade for me is kind of like an up in limbo right now because it's looking like they're the front runners to get Westbrook. But until that happens, we can't really grade them off of getting Westbrook. I just don't know what they're going to trade to get Westbrook because they don't really have a lot of like promising.
Winslow's gone. That's a definite.
Right, but I'm saying they don't have a lot of like even Winslow. They don't have a lot of promising like on the roster players.
Yep.
Like it's going to be picks. And
when is Westbrook a free agent?
A while.
Yeah.
He just signed a big contract 2 years ago.
Did he?
yeah, I think
Well-
he said
well,
5 years, 2
Was
years,
it
3
so?
years.
So he's under contract for 3 more.
Yeah,
Okay.
but like with a player like Westbrook, like the salary cap doesn't come into the issue. Like you're not. It doesn't matter how much money he's making because you're getting
No.
Westbrook. Whereas like a Nicholas Batum
my thought was
won a lot in return.
if he only had like a year or so left, that it would be more of like a picks type thing.
Well, it's going to be picks ananyway, but
they
they're
have
going
to make.
they're gonna
sure
want
the
some-
salary. match.
yeah, they're going to need to get players involved because of salary.
Yeah.
So they're going to need to get some players into it, and
Dragic would have to move because he's the only one making money on that team.
yeah, it'd probably have to be Dragic, Winslow, and like 4 first round picks, 4 or 5 first round picks.
If that's the case, dude. The Thunder are loaded in picks the next couple years.
Yeah, but they're going to be loaded in a bunch of kind of picks.
Yeah.
Because the Clippers are going to be good, and if they get if they Westbrook, they're probably going to make the 8
And the
seed.
Nuggets are going to be good.
So like all their picks are going to be like late teens, early 20s picks. Which if you have 3 of them in the first round, one of them is bound to be a good guy for your team. But you're probably not going to get a Westbrook out of any of those picks.
Yeah.
So I have a question, and I could be completely wrong here.
Likely.
But is Westbrook? From what we've seen in Oklahoma, is he just like a bad teammate? Like,
No.
do players not like? Because there's been at least 3 big name players that have come through Oklahoma and then moved on to other teams or
There's only been 2.
requested trades and.
There's only been 2. And Durant left because they weren't winning. He didn't leave because of Westbrook.
I'm not saying he left because of what, but I just mean
Paul George left because Kawhi wanted him. So he basically demanded a trade.
Yep. And
but
there were
he wanted him. But last year, Paul George put out the whole thing how he loves Westbrook and
He does love Westbrook.
but he also wants to win. Westbrook and PG-13 both know that they weren't winning a championship with that Thunder team in that division, especially after AD went to the Lakers, after the Trailblazers got Whiteside, the Nuggets got better, the Jazz got better. All these teams got better. They weren't winning a championship with that team. They weren't doing it. And Westbrook and Paul George both knew that. Westbrook, one of the smartest basketball guys in the league. They knew they weren't winning a championship with that team. There were rumors of them being shipped out before Kawhi went. But
it was to Toronto, right? There was that rumor that they sent Toronto some big offer.
well, no. That was a different. That was that would have been like Kawhi because Kawhi was leaving. Because the Raptors wouldn't have had enough money to give Kawhi a contract.
No, yeah,
And-
that's what I mean. With Kawhi leaving, the Thunder sent a trade offer to the Raptors, and the Raptors said no.
Right. And so I don't think it's anything to do with Westbrook. Only 2 stars have come through, and they both enjoyed playing with Westbrook.
Makes you better.
I mean,
yeah, like I said, it's just kind of a thing.
The
that
Thunder's
we've
big
seen
issue hasn't the Thunder's big issue has been not realizing the talent they had when they had it, and letting people like Oladipo and Harden go, and Ibaka. Those are all players that
Let them blossom.
Right, exactly. If they had kept the team together, even if Kevin Durant had left and they kept Harden and Oladipo, this team would have been an absolute unit. But they get to
I personally give the Heat a D.
a D.
Mm-hmm.
Why?
Yeah, they added Jimmy Butler, but they've also gave up everything that was around him. So now you're stuck with an aging Goran Dragic, who's not the same player. You gave up possibly your best player in Josh Richardson. You gave up Whiteside, who can help out Jimmy Butler just a little bit. And you gave up Olynyk, and you gave up Derek Jones Jr.
But I think the Whiteside thing was happening regardless if they got Butler or not.
No, I'm just I just don't like I think the team around him got worse. If they don't get Westbrook, I don't think this team wins 30 games.
I don't know about that. I disagree with that. I think they'll win 30 games. I feel like I feel like it's got to be a C. It doesn't matter what they still got Jimmy Butler.
I go with the C.
They still got Jimmy Butler, and Jimmy Butler was much better as a Bull than he ever was as a Timberwolf or 76er. Why? Because Jimmy Butler got to play takeover basketball. That's the type of player Jimmy Butler is. Jimmy Butler is get out of my way, I'm going to do it. And that's why he wasn't as the same Jimmy Butler he was with the Bulls in Minnesota or in Philadelphia, because there were too many other pieces around them that also wanted the ball.
I'll give you a C.
Yeah, I think they're going to go. And they still have Spoelstra. So, all right, the Milwaukee Bucks. So,
there's 2 antler combos there now.
Yep. They signed Giannis's brother. They added Wesley Matthews. They re-signed Hill. They signed Robin Lopez. They re-signed Brooke Lopez. And they re-signed Middleton.
A lot of brothers.
And for that reason, they get a B. Family chemistry.
I think that the Brogdon loss was big, but I think they replenished it in the right way by leaving a lot of the unit together. They didn't blow it up and go out and get a bunch of more star-studded pieces. I mean, this is still a team that won more games than anybody else in the league last year. And
if George Hill can return to the Utah Jazz, George Hill, they'll be fine.
And I think Robin Lopez adds a lot for them down low. I think adding Robin Lopez gives Giannis more playing time at the 3. Because now when you go big, you can do Robin, Brooke, and Giannis. And if put it this way, if they play a game where they have Robin at the center, Brooke at the 4, Giannis at the 3, Middleton at the 2, and whoever, I don't give a shit who it is, playing point guard.
Bledsoe.
Sure. Going up against the 76ers team, I don't understand. There just won't be rebounds. Because there's just both teams, there's just no way anybody can out-rebound them. I think every ball will just go up in the air and just vanish because it's like, I don't know who gets it. So I don't.
So you think the Bucks did a lot to pretty much complement Giannis without kind of like overshadowing him?
No, they didn't compliment Giannis. They kept the group together. That's what it was.
But I guess that's what I mean. So like they didn't go out and sign a big name guy to like play along. They brought the guys in. They kept the guys that have been around them and added pieces that can complement.
And outside of Giannis, their big 3 being Brogdon, Middleton, and Bledsoe, they got rid of the most expendable piece for that team. Would you agree with that, Kyle?
I think Bledsoe would have been more expendable than Brogdon.
I don't think so.
But I think they're both good.
I think Bledsoe's more valuable to that team than Brogdon's. I think Brogdon's a better player now, but I think Bledsoe's more important to the team. It's kind of like the McCutchen deal for the Phillies. Like
It's a sore subject.
No, but I'm just saying McCutcheon's not better than Jay Bruce at hitting. But McCutcheon meant more to that team than Bruce does. You know what I'm saying? Like it's just like a feel good thing. So
where you putting him?
I give him a B.
Yeah, I give him a B.
It's hard to
The loss of Brogdon hurts, but the Lopez signing was a good signing. I think the other thing that the signing Giannis's brother isn't going to do anything but let him have fun, which is what you need from somebody like a player like Giannis.
Brotherhood.
I'm kind of like doing a lot of weird like black stuff right now. I like it. All right. The New York Knicks swing and a miss on everybody they wanted.
On everything.
They signed Randall. They signed Portis. They signed Gibson. They signed Bullock. They signed Alfred Payton. And they signed Andre Ellington. Andre Ellington, right?
Wayne
Ellington. Yeah, Andre Ellington retired, right?
Andre's a running back.
He was a running back.
No, there was an Andre Ellington in the NBA too.
I'm sure there was.
So
are they just pretty much playing for the draft pick next year?
No, because they're way better.
The team is better, but
They signed a lot of power forwards and shooting guards.
and a lot of Bulls.
It's just going to be I don't think they'll fight for a playoff spot, but I think they'll be like a 35-win team.
They were all, in my opinion, they were all in on Kevin Durant. They didn't. They wanted, like during the season, like all the talk is like, we want Kevin Durant. We want Kevin Durant and Kyrie, but we want Kevin Durant more than we want Kyrie. And then they were stupid by saying, "Oh, we hesitated on KD because the injury or whatever," which made them look stupid because it's like he's still arguably the best player in the league. And you should have not said anything. If you didn't want to sign him because of injury, you should have just not said anything at all. Or just came out and said, we just didn't want to take on a player that couldn't play for us now. Something like that. Like something that like stands like true. Not something like, well, we weren't sure. Like, well, no shit, you weren't sure. So I guess suck. They got better. I don't think they're gonna win more than 30 games. They didn't build a team to lose. They built a team that's gonna fight. And I think the Knicks are going to be they're going to be one of those teams that's going to win like 25 games, but they're going to lose like 40 by like less than 10 points.
I love the Randall pickup. He's good.
Yeah, Randall's a good pickup. They definitely they
got some shooters
and they got good defense. Defense is good. Gibson's a good defender. Portis is a good defender. Peyton can be. Bullock can be.
Do you think they signed some of these guys to possibly trade them later?
No, there's no value in any of these guys.
Nothing in like Julius Randle because they only signed him for 2 years, right?
3.
The Julius Randle thing is not going to be a trade. Julius Randle's going to be one of those things they're going to hope to kind of pair him up with Kevin Knox into like a rebuild.
The Knicks are going to play small ball.
Yeah, they're going to play a lot of small ball, and then they brought in bodies that can give them valuable minutes. They brought in people that, when they're on the court, can produce in one fashion or another of the game.
What I see happening is that Mitchell Robinson plays the 5. Taj Gibson backs him up. Randall plays the 4. Portis backs him up. That's how I see it happening. RJ Barrett playing like the 3 or 2. Let the other 2 guys just like figure it out. Peyton might start because who the fuck's playing point guard for the Knicks? But like, he's a solid player, you know. He's not going to shoot the ball very high, but he got like a lot of triple doubles the last couple of years.
Yes.
So like,
I mean,
I give them. I don't give them an A. I don't think they're bad enough to be a C.
I can go with B. They didn't really do any bad contracts. They just filled up the roster with people that can give them.
I guess the only reason I say C is because they had high hopes for every other player. None of them.
I think it all went out. I think all of it went out the window when they didn't get the number 1 pick. When they didn't get the number 1 pick, because even if they went out and they got KD and Kyrie, they wanted the 3. No, it's not that they wanted the 3. They wanted to bring those 2 in
And
with Zion and Kevin Knox to win now, and then build those guys to win later when Kevin Durant and Kyrie were gone. So now it's just like, we're going to get the best guy available at the pick that we have, and we're going to build this the right way. I think that's what they're doing. They're going to build it the right way. They're bringing in people that can continue to play for them for years. So, all right, the Orlando Magic. They re-signed Vucevic to a max deal, which, I'm going to be honest, I didn't really see happening. I thought he was going to go somewhere else. They re-signed Ross. They signed Aminu. and they're re-signing Carter Williams.
I love that guy, but he's so bad.
Yeah, he's terrible.
He was so good for the Sixers for that 1 year. I don't know.
Give him a C.
Yeah.
Like the re-signing of Vucevic thing, like because they re-signed Vucevic, they didn't get better. They're still the same team. Like re-signing Vucevic just means that
Actually, all they did was re-sign guys and added a guy that can play some defense.
they didn't really get better as a team. I mean, they're keeping their unit together, which might result in them being better as a team, but they didn't really address any of the shit that they needed. They just kind of were like, we're going to roll with the same team and our draft picks. So, I mean, they kind of just
did nothing.
Because they had free agents to re-sign, they did things, but really they just kind of Cleveland Cavaliered it. They just didn't really do anything. So I feel like they're just a C.
Yeah.
Nothing lost, nothing gained.
All right. Oh, boy. Philadelphia 76ers. They signed Al Horford, and they retained Tobias Harris on a 5-year deal. They also got Richardson, as we talked about earlier, in the Jimmy Butler trade. They re-signed Mike Scott. They signed Kyle O'Quinn. Ennis is returning, and they also got Ralph Nadeau. It's not Ralph Nadeau.
Raul.
Yeah, I know. Ralph Nadeau. You don't get it.
I'm full.
Go ahead, Souls. Take it away.
I give him an A.
Care to elaborate?
Yeah. Can you help me get to it?
No.
Yeah, they gave it. They got rid of Jimmy Butler. Well, that didn't get rid of him, but he didn't want to come back. So at least they got something for him. And I think they got a very good piece for him. A guy that can shoot and a guy that can play defense. And he's a little bit younger. So he's only 25. He has a very good contract ahead of him. I think he's making he had 3 years left of $40 million. I think they overpaid for Al Horford a little bit, but they wanted just another stretch four. And I think they got a guy that can shoot a little bit and a guy that can play very good defense. Tobias Harris is a 3. He didn't have to stretch the floor anymore. He could play his type of ball. And on the bench, they just added guys that could complement him. Mike Scott was big for them last year. Ennis, they only gave him $4 million for 2 years. And they signed O'Quinn and Nadeau for better money. I think they got better. I think they deserve an A. Especially defensively and rebounding.
They set the bar very high. And I think that they didn't make any poor moves. I think that in the 76ers' minds, they really wanted to keep Butler. But the interest, I guess, was not there on his behalf. So they made a bunch of moves to kind of, just pad spots that, were lacking. But in my opinion, they just kind of filled space. I think that the team will be the same this year as it was last year. I don't know if it's improved. I think they just filled the roster spot. I think that team will win as many games as they did last year.
They'll be better in the playoffs because of it. That's because other teams got worse. The team that they had the most trouble with was the Raptors. Now they don't have to deal with Kawhi. And I think we could have beat the Bucks. I think they have no problem matching up with the Bucks now.
9.
I'm in, Kyle. I'm in.
So you have them as an A. I guess I don't have a good enough reason not to give them an A. I feel like the moves.
I do.
Go ahead.
I give him a B. And I'll do it in the Kyle Souls fashion. B+. My only gripe is I think the best thing that they did free agency wise was bringing in O'Quinn and re-signing Mike Scott, because basically you gave yourself an insurance policy for when, not if, Embiid gets hurt, because he will. He will get hurt and he will miss time. And when he's on the court, you guys are a worse team. But now you re-signed Scott, you got O'Quinn, so you have two people that can rebound the ball and 2 people that can stretch the floor, which is what Embiid does. And they're at their best when Embiid is playing all facets of his game. My thing is, I feel like the Sixers made a lateral move. And I say that with a lot of respect because they didn't get worse by any means. But I don't really know if I can buy into them getting better. And the only reason I say that is because the Horford thing is great. It gives them plays really good defense. And the Richardson thing gives them decent shooting and a spark. He'll start right at the 2. And it gives them like a spark offensively. But the two biggest things last year for the Sixers was they needed to get better. They needed to get better at defense a little bit, consistent wise, and they needed better 3-point shooting. So Butler was a better 3-point shooter than Richardson. And Horford is not as good as Redick. So you didn't really get better at 3-point shooting, but you got better defensively. I think you guys made a better move to get better defensively, but I think you lost shooting, which you really needed. Because the re-signing of Mike Scott doesn't improve your shooting, keeps it same. And O'Quinn, I mean, would you really say that O'Quinn improves your shooting?
No.
It's just kind of like a wash. So I just like you got
better than Jordan Bolden.
Right, but you guys got if you were a B in perimeter defense and a C in shooting, you went to like B plus A minus on defense and like C minus in shooting. You lost a lot of shooting.
Richardson can shoot. They did the. I saw the thing the other day. Yes, Redick shot like 39%, but Richardson was 37%.
But Redick's a different shooter. Percentages don't always tell the story of the types of shooter they are. Redick is the type of shooter. Yeah, he might miss a lot of shots throughout the season, but Redick is hitting that 3 when you guys are down 4 with like 48 seconds to go.
Not going to miss his defense.
Right, and that's what I said. You guys got better. The reason that I say B is simply selfish reasons, and I'd give him an A, but you guys broke up the best bromance in sports.
You didn't bring it up.
Yes, you did. You could have signed Boban. You could have re-signed Boban.
He wanted more than the league minimum.
Doesn't matter. You could have re-signed him. You didn't need to sign O'Quinn. Take O'Quinn's money and give it to him. And you broke it up. And Tobias Harris cried because of it.
Yes, he did.
So how good is he really going to be now that he cried because his best friend's gone?
We'll see what happens.
Yeah, you guys are going to trade him to the Mavs.
So, Paul, I have a question for you.
You can throw him an A.
Okay, never mind on my question then.
No, go ahead. What?
Well, my question, because I thought you were going to put him in the B range. So I was going to say, does it improve to A if Korver gets bought out and the Sixers sign him?
Oh, dude, I would be so hard.
Just because you mentioned like the 3-point thing and this, but you already put him in A, so it doesn't matter.
Well, no, I didn't put him in A. You guys all voted for A, so I'm outnumbered.
Also,
I put him in B.
Nader is better shooter
okay.
than McConnell, but McConnell's just too good.
So
And that's the other thing too. I completely forgot about that. The loss of McConnell's huge. I think it's because that you lost defense and on ball IQ off the bench and a huge spark.
Oh, I agree.
Both in the team and in the crowd.
I agree.
So I think that's why I'd give them a B. Yeah, if they can get Korver, that would be an A because then they increase their shooting and you're bringing back a hometown kid. It would ignite the crowd. It would be everything. So, but put them in A. It's fine. That's fine. We're going way too slow on this. All right, Toronto Raptors.
So hot.
D. They lost Kawhi. They lost Danny Green.
All
they did was sign Thomas from the EuroLeague.
Yeah.
Big fucking whoop.
Hey, you watch when that guy's averaging 8 points a game.
All right, the Washington Wizards.
D.
They kept Brian.
They traded Dwight Howard.
Yeah,
Yeah.
who cares? They also got 3 guys that who cares?
Can I take I forgot that guy's name as I was saying that sentence.
I
I had it as I started. I was like, oh, no.
They traded Dwight Howard, but they got on fucking 3 shit players from the Lakers.
And Isaiah Thomas.
They're the new laughing stock of the NBA.
Now the Hornets.
I think the Wizards are going to be way worse.
I don't agree with it only because John Wall will come back.
Next year.
Is he out for the whole year?
Yeah.
What was?
Well, they have
was
Bradley
his-
Beal.
Was his the Achilles?
Yeah.
He's missing 2 seasons?
Yeah.
Are you sure?
Yep. He's not coming back this year at all.
Why?
Because you're not going to be ready.
That's stupid. So his career's over.
Yeah, pretty much. And they're still paying that fuck.
D.
Yeah.
The Washington Mets
Yep.
pay people that don't play. All right, Dallas Mavericks into the West. So they re-signed the Unicorn. They signed Boban Marjanovic. Now they have 2 7'3" guys.
Both European.
That can shoot threes. They gave Powell an extension. They signed Barea. They signed Kleber. They're getting Seth Curry, and they got Finney Smith.
C.
B.
I have to give you B.
They added shooting in Curry. Boban gives them inside scoring and defense, and insurance for somebody that can eat a lot of minutes if Porzingis gets hurt. And I think all the other signings are just good, like rounding out the team pieces with Barea.
I don't know why they
Kleber.
love Max
Real quick,
Kleber so much.
I don't know.
With the Wizards, they did sign Ish Smith. I don't know if Kendall is aware of that.
Was not aware of that.
Yeah, they signed Ish Smith and Isaiah Thomas.
Ooh, so there's no E, unfortunately.
That's Ish Smith's 11th team.
Yeah. That's really the only reason I like him.
I'll give the Mavericks a B.
MLB.
That's fair.
All right, the Denver Nuggets. They gave Murray a max extension.
They did one more move today.
What?
They got Jeremy Grant from the Thunder.
B.
You mean Jimmy Graham?
Jim Graham.
B.
James?
They got Athletic with that one move.
Which is what they desperately needed. But they didn't get they didn't do anything over the top.
No.
So I think B's good.
Yeah.
I think B's fair. They still have arguably the best center in basketball. Arguably. I'm not taking a shot at you, Kyle. Arguably the best center in basketball. They still have they re-upped on Murray for long term.
They got a backup for Paul Millsap.
Yep. And then they went out and they signed an athletic guy. So
And they got Bol.
yeah, and they got Bobo. All right, so here's a fun one. Golden State Warriors. Durant, but they're bringing back Looney, who's more than likely going to be the starting 5 for that team. They lost Cousins, but they added D'Angelo Russell on a sign-and-trade deal. They re-signed Klay Thompson to a Supermax deal. They signed Cauley Stein from the Kings, and they also added Robinson.
I give him an A.
I give him an A also.
Yeah.
And I say that because even if Clay has to miss time, they got D'Angelo Russell to replace him.
Klay is missing time.
He's not?
He is.
Yeah.
He's
So,
guaranteed to miss time.
they got Russell to replace him. They added a better center than what they have with Cauley Stein.
Big fan of his.
No, you're not.
I am.
Kevin Looney's a good piece off the bench. Is it Glenn Robinson they signed?
Glenn Robinson the third.
He's athletic. Hasn't done shit in a couple of years, but
They had to bench people.
yeah.
The biggest reason that I give them an A is because they brought in a superstar caliber player to fill the shoes for Klay Thompson while he's out. And then when he comes back, they're going to trade him and they're going to get a lot for him. That team is immediately going to turn right back into Dynasty Warriors.
Yep.
So I give him an A.
Jerry West is a genius.
Yeah, he is.
You know, we could talk about it later, but is he like the greatest executive ever?
Yeah, probably.
Like across sports?
No, Robert Kraft.
Ugh. I retract my question. I don't want to talk about it any longer. Moving on.
I just think, and the only knock I have on the Warriors offseason is that they decided they're going to retire Andre Iguodala's number.
Please wait till the guy retires.
All right.
You're going to retire while he's playing?
Yep.
That's weird. What if he comes back?
Hey, you can't wear that.
Well, it's having a Jordan.
Yeah.
So you wear a different number. And then if you're good enough, you get it retired.
But I mean, like,
No, but-
he hasn't retired. Like, Jordan, didn't he retire and then come back?
Yeah.
This guy's still playing.
Well, especially if he comes back to the Warriors.
Like,
Okay, take it down.
You're wearing number 19.
No matter what, whoever's wearing 19, you're getting now.
All right. So the Houston Rockets,
D.
they kept Jeff Green and Danuel House, and then they also re-signed Rivers.
D.
Didn't do anything.
While everybody else got
No,
better, they
no.
stayed the same and probably going to end up as a 6-7 seed.
They got worse.
are they completely out on Westbrook?
No.
No, they have pieces. but it would require giving up the third best player on their team. Which the reason I don't see it decide to completely whole team before it starts, the one position that the Thunder won't need is a center, and that's the best thing because the Warriors or the Rockets are going to want to keep Chris Paul and James Harden. So the next best player to give up is Clint Capella, and the Thunder can't do Clint Capella and Steven Adams because neither of them can shoot. So it would just be stupid. Nobody would score down low.
Play him at the point guard.
Yeah, maybe might as well. I give them a D. They got worse in my opinion because they didn't bring anybody else in.
They struck out hard on Jimmy Butler.
Yeah. Again. All right, the Clippers. The Clippers
S.
got Kawhi Leonard. They did the trade for Paul George. They re-signed Patrick Beverley. They added Maurice Harkless. Maurice, right?
Yeah,
Maurice Harkless. And they got Magruder.
S.
I don't know much about Magruder.
Who's a Heat? That's why. They got Kawhi and George. Two fantastic scorers and two fantastic defensive players. Immediately make you a better team.
Well, they just added two elite defenders to an already really good defensive team.
And they still have fucking Lou Williams and Montrezl Harrell.
Yeah.
Where did the Clippers finish last year seed wise? They finished the 8th seed.
They were actually the 1 seed for a very long time, and then when they decided that they realized it wasn't going to last, they dumped Harris to the Sixers.
Yeah.
For pieces, and now they went out and added 2 of the top 10 players in the league. So I think it'd be hard to find.
I give them S.
Yeah, I have to agree with that. Also, because there's also speculations that they get Westbrook.
Wow, that'd be fun.
I said the NBA to me is almost like someone running like a 2K season.
You know why? You know why I give him an S though? You know what Kawhi did? He restored balance in the NBA. There's no big 3. Nobody has a big 3. The closest thing to a big 3 is the Sixers, but even that, like it's
like a big 2.5.
It's
talking a 2 1/4 here.
the reason I don't really consider him a big 3 is because you have a you have a great 2-way player in Ben Simmons who's one-dimensional on offense. You have a great 2-way player in Joel Embiid, but health is still a concern. And then you have a great 2-way player in Horford, but aging is an issue. So, but no, there's no more big 3s. I mean, D'Angelo Russell. Let's see what the Warriors do if they keep him. But even that's 3 backcourt guys. I mean, Klay Thompson can play the 3, but it's still a backcourt guy. He's not gonna,
Oh yeah.
But it's Curry and it's Thompson. It's AD and it's LeBron. It's Kawhi and Paul George. It's Ben and Embiid. It's Kemba and Tatum. It's CP3 and Harden. It's Porzingis and Luka. It's
Conley and Mitchell.
I mean, but it's just there's it's Young and Oladipo. You know, it's a restoration of balance in the NBA. And right now we're looking at coming back to the East being really, 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 really bad and a lot of really good teams in the West. I hope we get back to like that Phoenix Suns era where they were really good but never got the job done, where like the 9, 10, 11, and 12 seed in the West all had sub 500 or above 500 records and missed the playoffs, and like 4 teams in the East were sub 500 and made it. But then the East somehow still won. All right, moving on. The LA Lakers. They signed Cook to a 2-year deal. They re-signed Caldwell Pope and McGee. They reached a deal with Daniels. I don't know who that is.
Troy Daniels.
Is that who it is?
Yeah.
They signed Dudley from the Nets, and they got Davis.
And Boogie.
Give him an A.
Hey,
Yeah, I think they had a good offseason.
They did good in the concept of they've missed on Kawhi and they did all that other stuff very quickly right after.
Yep. I give him an A. They still added Boogie. I believe Boogie is very overrated, and I don't think he's as good defensively as he was when he was in Sacramento.
I think he'll play well with Davis, though, again. I don't think he has to be like the
It won't be the same. It won't be the Pels Davis.
Oh, I don't think it'll
connection.
be the same, but I just think that they already have some type of chemistry, and I don't think Boogie has
Boogie's
to
going
be
to benefit
the.
from playing with LeBron, not with Davis.
My pick is out. So update. It's Vlad versus Peterson and Alonzo versus Acuna.
You talking
I'm out
Jacques
too.
Peterson?
Jacques.
Is it really?
But I give them an A. They still signed bodies that are redeemable, and
Still no fucking shooting on that team.
nope, still no shooting. And despite selling the farm for Davis, they kept the best piece of the farm, future-wise.
LeBron playing point guard this year.
If I knew this is how things were going to play out, I'd have been happier if they got rid of Kuzma and kept Ingram. I think that would have been better for them because Ingram's a better shooter. But I give them an A. Memphis. We talked earlier. They traded Parsons to the Hawks. They traded for Andre Iguodala. They re-signed Valanciunas. They added Melton and Jackson from the Suns. And then they waived Bradley and will waive Dwight Howard after their trade.
I give them a B because I think Josh Jackson will play better for them.
I also give them a B because they dumped contracts.
I think the combination of Ja Morant, I know he hasn't done anything, but Ja Morant, Jaren Jackson Jr., and Josh Jackson.
Might send those keys down.
Yeah, I don't know why I picked him up. I think that could be pretty good for them.
You can play with them, just don't like brush the table with them.
I think those three together could be pretty good. And you have Valanciunas, who played a lot better for Memphis than he ever did with Toronto.
I can live with B.
I'm in with the B.
Homer. All right, Minnesota Timberwolves. They attracted Bell from the Warriors, so they signed him. They reached a deal with Vonleh, and they signed Layman to a 3-year deal.
Meh.
D.
See,
They just got guys that play the same fucking position. That's it. And they're still stuck with Jeff Teague.
they didn't get worse.
No, I guess. But Vonleh plays the same position.
All the people in D got worse.
Yeah, all right.
All right, arguably the worst mascotted team in the league, New Orleans Pelicans.
Now wait a minute.
Traded for Derek Favors. They got JJ Redick. They got Miller. They got Melly. And then they got all those pieces from the Lakers.
I give him an A.
They get an A.
Yeah, I think they got a lot better. I mean, granted,
They get an A,
they're
but
bad, but
they got an A, but I think they missed the playoffs.
They also gave away Omar Sheik.
Again.
what? Was he on the team again?
Yep.
When? How did no one text me this?
Because you don't follow basketball, man.
I try,
You don't.
but I can't believe no one didn't text me this. Nice.
I give them an A. They're poised for the future. I don't think they make the playoffs this year, though.
A 8 seed.
No, I don't think so. You're still not. Until this team gels, you're still not. The Rockets are still a force to be reckoned with. The Clippers are going to make it. The Lakers are still going to make. They're going to make the playoffs. They may not win it, but they're going to make the playoffs. The Warriors are still going to make it. The Nuggets are going to make it. The Jazz are going to make it. The Trailblazers are definitely going to make it. I think Sacramento has a real shot at making it. I think that.
The Yaz.
I said the Jazz. I think the Mavericks have a chance.
If Porzingis plays.
Yeah, they could make the 8 seed, but I don't know. All right, Oklahoma City. They got Muscala. They kept Noel. They picked up Burks. They got rid of Paul George. D.
Oh yeah.
I give him a C.
Why? Please
But
tell me
it's-
why
but it's a
Muscala
C
makes the
minus.
difference.
No, there's nothing. I give him a C because they're opening up more money. Because they're a team that's been.
Yeah, but now they're just like the same. They're just the worst Thunders team now. Because now they're a bad team that still has no bench.
Yeah.
They were always a good team that had no bench. Now they're a bad team with no bench.
I don't know about that. Either he won the MVP. Westbrook. He didn't have anybody. Now he has Alec Burks.
Yeah, but when you have the MVP, you're a good team. Hence them making the playoffs.
And I think open up money means a lot for them.
All right, I'll give him a C. It's just kind of whatever. Just kind of like I did a whatever thing. All right, the Phoenix Suns, they signed Ricky Rubio. They signed Frank Kaminsky. And they added Kyle Korver, but are expected to waive him.
They get a D.
For waiving Kyle Korver?
Yes. And they just got worse.
I give him a C. They went out and signed a point guard that can play.
I'll give you that, but they got rid of a young kid who's been in the league for 2 years. You don't know what he has yet.
But they went out and signed a point guard. That's the thing they needed to do most.
Right.
And at least they went out and signed a plausible one.
I'll give you a C.
They didn't go out and sign fucking Ish Smith or some bullshit.
I wish they did.
Like the Suns are a team where like we answered our point guard situation, guys. We signed Isaiah Thomas. Like they went out and got Ricky Rubio. He can play minutes. He's a scrappy guy and he can distribute the ball.
If they were just smart, they would have just fucking drafted him.
Yeah, but they're not smart. That's why they got Ricky Rubio. He was better than other options I guess they could have had.
They could have got Kobe White.
I give him a C. Yeah, they could have. None of this is going to matter when the Bulls sign Korver. Again.
Right. What do you got next, Riddler?
Oh, what are you fading on us?
I just need a break. I'm so hot.
What are you going to do? You're just going to sit there for the break.
I got to move around.
He's just bored.
No.
All right. Portland Trail Blazers. Dame gets the Supermax deal. They acquire Whiteside in the Butler trade. They're re-signing Hood. They're getting Hazonia. And they also got Tolliver. A.
B.
A.
I like the Whiteside signing.
Well, they just added more money to the fucking cap that they don't have.
Yeah, but they needed something besides Nurkic.
What's going to happen when he comes back?
But even with Nurkic there, they still needed something besides Nurkic.
And then they added two guys
Nurkic
that
is a decent center, but he's not winning you games.
and Hanzonia sucks.
But it's depth. They need depth. They need people that can come off the bench and score them 5 to 8 points.
I do like Tolliver.
The Tolliver signing, I think, was good. The Hazonia thing was good. Re-signing Hood, I think, was a big deal. And Whiteside's going to make a difference for that team because Nurkic was good for them offensively, but he was definitely not good defensively. Average.
So do you think the team got better?
Yes.
So to me, if a team that was good got better, I think they have to be at least a B. Right?
That's what we said.
Oh, okay.
No, I said A.
I said B.
I'm sorry. I thought you said C, Kyle. I'm sorry.
I said A.
I say B.
You're just saying it because Kyle's sitting next to you.
I was going to say A.
It's not true.
Rebecca,
Read up.
A or B?
Good girl.
Homer.
All right, Sacramento Kings. Kings re-signed Barnes and Dedman. They're adding. They added Ariza. They reached to a deal with Holmes, and they brought in veteran Joseph. Those? I give them an S because their jerseys are awesome.
Give him a B.
Because their jerseys are awesome.
They got players. They got good veteran players.
I give Harrison Barnes agent an S.
Yeah, that guy just keeps getting mad money. They had a veteran, which they needed. No flashy veterans, but they're good veterans. I think it'll help out their team as it goes.
Yeah, I like Ariza and Corey Joseph.
Like, obviously, Fox is going to be the starter.
Mhm.
Barnes will be the starter, but the other two guys that are going to.
Their season depends on what Bagley does. He needs to keep improving. All right, moving on. Oh, did we get? I say B.
B. Good jerseys as well.
No,
Yes.
it's a terrible logo too.
I like that logo.
San Antonio Spurs. They got Dimitri Carroll, and they re-signed Rudy Gay.
And they got Marcus Morris.
You got Marcus Morris?
Yep.
B.
Yeah.
All-star years. It's just how it is. They're literally the Patriots. Just anybody you sign, just they're better than they were.
Them.
Yeah, we don't like the Spurs. All right, and then the Utah Jazz.
A.
Okay.
A.
You want me to read any of these things?
I'd like to hear it.
Oh, okay. They signed Bogdanovich. They're signing Ed Davis. They're signing Jeff Green, and they signed Emmanuel Amudier.
And they traded for Mike Conley.
That was before the draft.
Either way, A.
Yeah, Jeff Green, good signing.
I think they got more shooters around Mitchell, and they still have Rudy Gobert to play defense at the end. So they could eat a little defense for shooters.
That's true. Good man. All right, there you have it.
Yep. Fuck the 4 teams in the bottom. I actually hate all 4 of them. Actually, I like the Hornets. I hate the other 3.
You take the Hornets' colors.
Yeah.
Have you always disliked the Rockets, Kyle?
Yeah.
I didn't know that
start.
about you.
Well, first of all, they're fucking
Like-
boring.
I don't know. 8.
10.
Yeah, 8-10.
Can't go to break yet
Why?
because it's a weird time to go to a break. It's 9:42. We should go to break in like 8 minutes. We'll take like a 10-minute break and we'll come back and do a strong last hour. So 8 minutes. What do you want to talk about? How's everyone's day?
Good. Good. You know the beer though.
Yeah, I'm not good friends with Kendall anymore.
I agree with you. What kind of asshole goes on vacation doesn't tell his friends?
What if you die?
How many secret trips have you gone on, Kyle?
But he tells you about them before he leaves. He doesn't.
Not
just go.
always.
Yeah, he doesn't just go.
Not always.
Always.
I invited you to one. He didn't invite any of us.
He invited me.
Oh, he did.
No.
I was like, that's so good.
It's just bullshit. I mean,
Twitter poll. Would you tell your friends if you're going on vacation?
Actually,
That's a good amen. And I did. You know what? We'll save this off the air.
tell us.
You guys were all in the same room with me before we left the show. How did you guys not hear it?
Because usually I'm drunk by then.
You didn't tell us last Monday.
And I wasn't here last
Upstairs.
Monday.
Upstairs?
Upstairs before we left.
would you guys like to get into the Twitter poll?
I
Yeah.
went up. I went straight from this basement straight outside. I spent no time in the kitchen.
We were all in the kitchen.
And I went
No,
home.
I went
I
straight
wasn't
outside.
here.
All right. You want the Twitter poll?
Yes.
Okay. So I posted this, I believe it was the same day that Kawhi and Paul George ended up on the Clippers. And I asked what LA team will win a championship first? The Lakers, the Clippers, the Rams, the Chargers. I was only able to do 4 options. I left the Dodgers out because they're helpless. They're not going to win a World Series.
I don't know if Dave Roberts is there, but never mind.
So,
The Clippers.
Kendall?
I said the Rams.
I
Kyle?
don't have a Twitter.
I say the Clippers.
So
What'd you say?
I don't know if I voted.
So pick now.
I would have said the Clippers, just because I thought they were pretty good last year and they added great pieces. But anyway,
The Rams aren't going to win one.
um,
Sean McVay overcoaches. He's
We,
the Gabe Kapler of the NFL.
we had a pretty good turnout, 119 votes. With 12% was the Chargers. The Lakers and the Rams tied at 29%, and the Clippers won with 30%. So it was a pretty close race.
Also, fuck the Lakers.
Yeah.
Care to,
I think the
elaborate
Chargers.
there,
I think the Chargers are actually closer to winning a championship than the Lakers.
Yeah. Why do I hate the Lakers? Because all of their fans suck.
Except for Nipsey Hussle.
Like, oh, we're going to fucking ride the LeBron dick, and when he sucks, we're going to boo them. Fuck them.
Catching some of
So-
that on the
So
mic there.
just
Is that
kind of
bad?
devil's
little
advocate
bit.
here, Kyle.
Yeah, go ahead. What team do I boo?
The Phillies with Bryce Harper.
I don't boo him.
I'm not saying you specifically, but the Phillies fans boo him pretty good.
No, they don't. They boo him for a game, and then they're all about him the next day. They boo them for the entire season.
Oh, Harper was getting booed for a while
Yeah,
when he
and
was
then-
batting, 220.
And now we've added up to 250.
Yeah, but it wasn't just Harper getting booed, though. It was the team. The team was getting booed because the whole team was playing like cheeks.
Yeah.
The Lakers will boo anybody. If LeBron showed up and dropped 10 points, he'd get booed. Even if he put up 10 points and 30 assists, he'd get booed.
And they were just afraid of Kobe to boo him.
Yeah, because Kobe would have left. Kobe could have left at any moment in time.
Yeah.
And chose not to because he was banging Genie Bus.
Yeah, first of all, fuck that bitch, too.
He was like, first of all,
I just hate, like, Magic Johnson. I do.
It's not.
He wants to go to all these meetings when he steps down. Dude, you can't do that. You're done. Get out of the fucking GM role. You're not good. You weren't good at it. Get out. Sorry. You fucking ruined your team. You ruined the Lakers for a couple years.
like Mike Singletary did with the 49ers.
Yeah, and the GM of the Lakers now ruined their team even more. I'm sorry. They would have been better off keeping the fucking kids and getting rid of LeBron. My opinion.
Right?
The
Fair,
Lakers
fair.
are not good with LeBron. LeBron's not good for the Lakers. Case closed. He should have went to the fucking Spurs.
LeBron?
I thought for sure
LeBron?
right there was going to be Sixers.
I thought so too.
I thought he was going to do it so bad, and it was going to be awesome.
The best team for LeBron would have been the Spurs.
Man, I really wish you said Sixers there, Kyle. That would have just been awesome.
No, because it would have
Not
made
even
sense.
if you didn't mean it. But not even if you didn't mean it. It just would have been awesome.
It would have made more sense than the fucking Lakers. The Sixers'
All right.
talent's more proven.
How many more teams do you think LeBron plays for?
One.
Really?
I do not think he finishes that career out with the
Do you
Lakers.
think he goes back to the Cavs to finish?
I do.
That'd be so
I
funny.
do.
I do not.
Where do you think he goes?
Knicks.
Think he finishes out in Madison Square Garden?
Yep.
See that? Makes him go to the Clippers.
He's joining the Nets to fucking ride the Durant wagon.
I for sure see him going to Cleveland, and they do the thing like in baseball, and everyone's giving him gifts before every game, even if it happens like twice.
You know,
They give him another gift.
He's gonna sign with the Warriors on a 1-year deal. Lose in the championship to the Cavs.
Go play baseball.
LeBron needs a coach that can coach him, not for LeBron to run the team.
LeBron needs a coach that just does what he says.
No,
Yeah, and guess what? If he went to the Spurs, he'd be
not-
told to shut the fuck up and
that's
listen.
not true, though. Because LeBron played his best basketball when he had Eric Spoelstra. And Eric Spoelstra coached the team. He was in charge of the team.
Why don't
LeBron
you
was
go
the
to
leader.
fucking Celtics.
LeBron was the leader of the team. Yeah, if LeBron, then game over. For
If
sure.
LeBron wants to prove his greatness, go to the Hornets.
I just really want the Celtics.
Play under Jordan.
I want the Celtics to beat the Lakers this year. I just need Kemba to beat LeBron once.
That could have been an interesting dynamic if LeBron ended up on the Hornets. Just to have him and Jordan.
Play one-on-one every day.
I don't think LeBron wouldn't have done it. I think it would have hurt his ego.
I mean, just would have been interesting to see, like, you know, him and Jordan interact, I guess. Like, no, man, he's
They
better
released the
than me.
schedule yet for the NBA? Clippers, Lakers, Christmas, no doubt, for sure.
Sixers, Celtics.
No, it's going to be a doubleheader: Lakers, Clippers, Lakers, Clippers. They're gonna change the floor and have
Could
it
you
be-
imagine that?
All right, well, I guess this is a good time to go to break. We'll take like a 5 to 10 minute break, however long the Red Baron needs to pee and Mark needs to stretch out his sack.
Oh, God.
Then we'll come back and we have a fun little game plan for the third hour, and then we'll do some fun. So yeah, we'll be back in about see you in a bit.
Hey, can I just for the